Hey guys, welcome to another episode of She Knows Arsenal. This is an extra show today that because of the transfer deadline. So we're going to cover the incomings and outgoings, and just kind of have a quick chat about that. And I have the bearded Gooner here with me, so it should be a really good conversation. And we're also going to do a quick Wolves preview. So let's go ahead and get started. Get Tannor in here. Hey, Tannor.
What's up? What's up?
Hey. So.
Deadline day, and it's a snow day, baby. Let's go.
So, I mean.
Snow day for me, anyway.
Snow day for you, regular day for me. I think it's like rainy,
right.
but nothing special. So, today is deadline day, and usually in January, nothing really happens. But to me, I think something huge has happened today. And today, Mustafi has left the club. I guess some final details, but apparently we have terminated Mustafi's contract, and he's going to be going to Schalke to go hang out with his friend Kolasinac. So for me, this is a good thing. With Ozil and Kolasinac and Mustafi and Socrates all leaving the club in one window, I feel like it's like an end of an era almost, and it's, for me, it's good for us financially as well as emotionally as a fan base to see certain players leave. And that's not for me, that I'm not really saying that they're not good players, because they are. It's just it wasn't a good fit for us. And I think it's a good day to move forward into this new era for Arsenal. What do you think these players kind of like leaving the club is going to do for us as a club moving forward?
If you'll bear with, I'm reading a tweet right now from David Ornstein. So this is going to be with transfer deadline day. This is kind of, what I'm doing here, paying attention to different, basically David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano, just to see what they're saying in terms of transfer news. But no, you hit the nail on the head with the kind of the end of an era thing, with all of these players leaving. And at the end of the day, financially it's good, and it's getting this dead weight off the books. It's getting some of the players that are fringe players out to get them more regular first team football. Joe Willock to Newcastle. David Ornstein just tweeted that Maitland-Niles is on track to go to West Brom on loan, I believe. So,
yes,
with the Mustafi to Schalke, I didn't see if that's a loan deal, but then Mustafi's permanent. Is it permanent? So then, okay, maybe there's a small transfer fee there, or I didn't see details of it. It just said, Mustafi to Schalke, didn't give details of the deal. So did he leave on loan? Did he leave on a permanent deal? Did we terminate the contract, as you said, and he moved on, that way? So yeah, end of an era, really. When you look at it, and it's the end of a bad era. Let's face it. This is when we look back over the course of the last 4 years, we gave Mesut Ozil the contract extension, but we had all of these players in, and let's call it the Europa League era, because that's really what it is, and it started there. So hopefully, somehow, some way, we can come through, get through this season and hopefully, continue our trajectory upward, qualify for Champions League, whether it be through top 4, winning the Europa League, and really, really put the final nail in the coffin to the abysmal Europa League era at the Emirates, and move on, get back into, where we want to be, which is Champions League football.
I have so many bad memories of this particular group. And I hate to be negative, because I know they're professional footballers. So I'm not saying that they're horrible players, but for us, they just really kind of signify how bad we've been. And I have to say, they're a part of the banter era. when we talk about Arsenal in the last 4 or 5 years, all you kind of see is like clips of Mustafi, Kolasinac getting ran by, Socrates. It's just, I think it's such a good time for us to move on. And ultimately, like, the wage bill is going down as well, which is, emotionally we feel better, but for Arsenal as a club, as a business, it's going to be so much lighter because all of them were on at least 100 grand a week, Mesut Ozil on 3 times as much, so moving forward, we'll be able to have a little bit more wiggle room to do what we really want to do. Sorry, that's my fax machine behind me.
Oh, I thought you were getting an update. I thought somebody was calling you. Breaking news. Breaking news. Let's go. Come on.
So yeah, and I think this also leads us into talking about Edu. I think we'll do kind of like a wrap up at the end a little bit, talking about Edu as a whole. I'm sorry, you guys, about my fax machine in the background.
I have to interrupt you real quick. Who still uses a fax machine?
We don't even use it. It's just like it's just this thing. Don't just forget about it, Tannor. Don't just forget about it.
I'm totally calling you out. It is 2021, and Jess over there still using a fax machine. I can't even spell fax at this point. That's how outdated and antiquated a fax machine.
Stop. Leave me be. But yeah, I want to get into Edu a little bit later and kind of give him a grade on his transfer window so far. But now I kind of want to go into Maitland-Niles. It looks like his move to West Brom will probably go through before the end of the transfer window. A loan, just a straight loan, no options to buy or anything like that. And it's really happening after the Southampton deal that he potentially had has fallen through. Yeah. And it's been kind of making the rounds on social media especially in Arsenal Twitter about, whether this was the deal for Southampton has fallen through because Maitland-Niles wants to play in the midfield and Sam Allardyce is willing to let him play in the midfield. What do you think about that? Do you think that that's a better move for Maitland-Niles to move to West Brom versus Southampton to play in a position that he's really never going to play at Arsenal? What do you think?
Well, I don't want to never say never, right?
Never say never, but to this point, he has not played there.
If he goes to West Brom as a midfielder, and the thing is, that's what he's always wanted to do. Anytime we ever hear anything negative with Maitland-Niles, it's because he wants to play in the midfield. And that's the position he came up, playing was a midfielder. So if Sam Allardyce is going to give him that chance and he's going to give him regular first team football, then let's go. Let's see what he can do. If that's what he wants, and if he thinks he can fight for his place as a midfielder here, then he needs to go out on. He's needed this loan move, despite whatever position he's going to play. He's needed this loan move for at least 2 years now. He's just not getting enough regular team football when most of the squad is healthy. So if it's West Brom, would I like him to go somewhere more competitive? Yeah, I'd prefer him go to Southampton. That has to do with Southampton's standing in the in the table, but also the coach. I like Ralph Hasenhüttl as a coach, and
this is his best chance of actually playing in the midfield. Though I hate to cut you off, but
no, you're good
about it because nobody's really seen him in the midfield. I'm thinking that this is his best opportunity is to go to a team that is willing to give him what he wants. If he goes to Southampton, he's not gonna play over Diallo. He's not gonna play over Romeo. He's not gonna play over Ward-Prowse. So I think if he does want to do this, then he has to go to a lower level team. But at the same time, I'm thinking about Maitland-Niles and I'm like, okay, well, if this is his play to try to get into the Euros with England, I don't really see a path for him in England or in the England squad in the midfield. So it's strange to me that he wouldn't go to a team where he could play wing back, which is the position that he came into the England squad as, so it's a strange move because I know that some of this has to do with the Euros. And if he wants to play for England, I would think that he would have a better chance as a wing back. So I just wanted to put that out there too.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a great point because he is thinking of he is thinking of the Euros, and I think that's why he's accepting the loan move, because he knows that if he doesn't play here, he's probably not going to play for England in the Euros. So, but no, that's a really good point. He broke into the England squad as a wingback. So, yeah, it's from that standpoint, bit of a contradictory move, if you will, if he's saying, look, I want more regular, I want more first team football, more regular first team football, because I want to get into the England squad for the Euros, but I want to try. He's not going to play midfield in the, oh, wait, put that back up there. I want to thank Military Gooner for the compliment. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Oh, you were talking about her. Wait, her. I'm always backwards with this. Talking about her. Okay.
You too, Tannor. You're beautiful as well.
I try. So apparently my beard is overly manicured, except not this morning, because I got this little piece right here, like keeps like curling out. So anyway, yeah. Yes, I just woke up, by the way. Don't judge. Don't judge. It's 11 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. And yes, I just woke up. Don't judge. I was up till 4:30 in the morning. So
let's not judge Tannor and his appearance. He's beautiful, beautiful bearded man at this point, So
you can make fun of me all you want, but don't judge. That's what I always say. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to make fun of you.
You guys, if you're in the chat box and you get any updates before we do, please feel free to put them in the chat box and let us know. We're checking our phones and, checking our notes and all that kind of stuff. But, as we're talking, if something happens, go ahead and let us know. And
I feel like nobody's going to get this reference, but I'm going to put it out there because so here in America, we don't have. So what we have in American sports really are trade deadlines. Like there's a trade deadline in the NBA. The NFL's trade deadline is like nobody cares because you just don't see a lot of trades happen mid-season in the NFL. But excuse me, FC Dallas's Brian Reynolds has joined Roma. I'm putting that out there just because he's American. So
oh yeah, yes,
right back. Played for FC Dallas this year. I think they got to the semifinals of the MLS playoffs. I don't really pay that much attention. But this is supposedly a franchise record fee. I would imagine that means for FC Dallas.
Yeah.
So, but Brian Reynolds, American, going to Roma on a record fee for FC Dallas, not for Roma. So, but that just came across interesting. So
everybody in the chat box, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. We got some regulars in here. Our friend Do Not Waste the Tweet. Good people.
Gary there, Big Gunner, the Assembled, Maxwell, Military Gooner. Good to see you guys all here.
Yeah, it's good to see all of you guys. Yeah.
I know I enter, obviously, Gary. Gary's our chat moderator on Same Old AFC USA. Yeah, so Bargev, I think that's how you say that. I apologize
if I butchered your name. I've seen you before.
Yeah,
Maxwell, that's my boy. How are you? Well,
yeah, and NBA deadline is similar to the transfer deadline. So this is kind of where I was going with this. You see us looking down at our phones and looking at our screens and things like that. So I pay attention to the NHL, which is ice hockey, and they always run a trade deadline day show. And it's funny because they have a couple of their insiders. So consider them the David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano of the NHL. And they're constantly sitting at a table off the main set, but they're sitting at a desk. And they're always just like this. They're always on their phone. They're always on their computers, like looking at information and getting text messages or emails from league executives, team executives, giving them breaking news on trades and things like that. So I don't know. This is kind of fun,
Yeah, it is. So Enrico had a quick question. I just wanted to address it really quick. He said, and thank you for the question. I know it's a bit off topic, but how do you feel about Weston McKennie or how he's done at Juve? And do you think U.S. football is on the way up and the talent coming through? Yesterday I did tune into the U.S. men. They played Trinidad and Tobago and they killed them. And it was more of the players that were from the MLS. But, the best thing to me has been like they were talking about how the MLS has actually become a selling league versus a buying league. Now the bigger leagues are looking to the MLS to buy young American talent. And you see that Weston McKennie, Gio Reyna, I forget, I think his name is like Sargent. He's at like Werder Bremen in Germany. There's tons of American players, Pulisic, that are really paving the way for young American, footballers to get to Europe. And I think Weston McKennie has been one of the biggest success stories for going from America to Germany and to Juventus, which is one of the most well-known, the biggest clubs in the world. And he's doing a fabulous job. In another life, if we didn't go for Thomas Partey and we were looking for a more long-term option in that deeper center midfield role or that box-to-box role, Weston McKennie would have been a very good fit for Arsenal. And I think that they're just doing so well. Tyler Adams at Leipzig, and it's great to see the young US players get their chance. So I just wanted to bring that up as well.
So that is Brian Reynolds, obviously with his Yep. So that, again, that's just the most recent thing that came through. So that's done. Just to echo everything you just said about Weston McKennie, I think he's doing the business at UV. I think he's really doing U.S. football proud, U.S. soccer, as it were. Everything.
Don't say that. Soccer.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Well, you say U.S. football. See, you got to differentiate. I got to differentiate between American football and real football. So,
don't for sake of argument, we're American.
For sake of argument, but to Enrico's question, I do think that U.S. football is on the way up with this young talent, and Christian Pulisic is certainly going to lead the way for that. So, quick story: I actually watched Christian Pulisic's dad play indoor football. It was like 7-on-7, but Christian Pulisic's dad was a goalkeeper for a now defunct indoor football team called the Harrisburg Heat. Harrisburg is the capital of Pennsylvania. They used to play at a facility called the Farm Show Complex. And my grandfather would take me to games up there when I was a kid. It was actually kind of fun to watch because the ball would never go out of play. The ball was always in play because the pitch was completely enclosed except for, there was a roof overhead because it was indoor, but it was they're kind of like hockey. There were boards, there was glass there. So the ball was constantly in play. You could try a bank pass off the wall, to spring somebody if you didn't have a direct line to them, try to hit them with a bank pass. So, but to Enrico, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I was going to go ahead and finish your point. I was just going to get, I wanted to move on to Odegaard too.
No, just echoing everything you said about Weston McKennie. I think he's doing really well at Juventus. He's definitely one to keep an eye on. And Brian Reynolds he's going to be a player. Brian Reynolds is going to be a player. I'm telling you that right now. He'll spend his time abroad. I don't know that he'll come to England anytime soon. Right. I think he'll spend his time abroad in Italy, Germany. Weston McKennie, I think, is on loan at UV. I don't think they bought him. I think he's on loan. I think a German team owns him. I'm not 100% on that. Maybe somebody in the chat can double check me. But bottom line, U.S. football is on the way up. A lot of young talent coming through, Enrico. It's a great point. Mm-hmm. Great point by you. So
okay. So so we do need to touch on Willock though. So just going back to like our transfer window before we get to, Odegaard, I did want to just, fit Willock in because if his move to Newcastle comes off, which it looks like it's going to, I think that this is the best possible scenario for Willock at this point. He desperately needs a loan. And if we're going to he's getting a Premier League loan. So we'll be able to see if game in and game out, Willock is able to establish himself as a Premier League player. To this point, when we play against like lower level opposition in the Europa League, he's done fine. But every single time that it seems like he gets into the Premier League games, he just kind of like fades in and out. In your opinion, do you think that this is a good move for Willock? And does this open up an opportunity for him to really put himself out there and maybe come back to Arsenal? Or do you think that this may be the end for him? What do you think?
I think it's a good move. I like that he's going to Newcastle. They've got some things to fight for. They're trying to keep a hold of the manager. They're showing some fight now off the back of a good 2-0 win at Goodison Park against Everton over the weekend. So I really think this is a good move for Joe Willock. Is it the end, or does he come back? That remains to be seen. I personally think it's probably the end for Joe Willock. But this is, let's put him in the window. Going to Newcastle. Let's get him in the shopping window. Get him out there. Let teams see what he can do, and see if somebody wants to come in. And put up a purchase fee for him. Let's hope that he does well at Newcastle, because maybe Newcastle comes back and says, you know what, he fit in really well up here. We want to keep him around. We'll give you, 15 to 20 million for him, which I think is a little ambitious right now. But a German team could come in for him. Kind of wish I had Drew on here to ask him his thoughts on that, because I think a lot of these guys would do really well in Germany. So that's just kind of my take on it. But I think it's a good move. Like I
do too. And I'm looking, when you look at the Newcastle side, I just feel with Callum Wilson, you have a really decent forward there, but Joe Linton really hasn't hit his stride, and St. Maximin is having a really hard time coming back from his coronavirus. So I think that having somebody like Willock that can add that little bit of chaos factor in the final third might really help them, because they really struggle scoring goals. Like, that's one of the, as the lower teams in the Premier League, the one thing that really keeps them from succeeding, in my opinion, is their inability to score goals. And Willock does have that in his locker. So if he can add a little bit of chaos factor, maybe they can play with, Almiron, St. Maximin, Callum Wilson, and Willock just in behind. And maybe that'll help them, get a little bit further away from the relegation zone, when we talk about like the bottom of the Premier League. So I think it's a good move for Willock. I don't see him sitting on the bench there. They definitely need some reinforcements. Hopefully Steve Bruce takes care of him, and we'll see at the end of the season where he is. I personally feel like Willock needs longer than 6 months. So I would like to see him for maybe a year and then see where he is. I do think Joe Willock is a talented player. I think he has specific skill sets that we don't really have, but we don't really know how to use in the system that we have at the moment. So he needs to go out on that loan. So I'm hoping that goes through for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. And this is Steve Bruce. I can never remember. I don't know why. I can never, ever, ever remember his name. It's weird. I don't know. But anyway.
Good morning,
guys. Jason is in the house. He's made it. How are you, Jason? How are you doing?
I'm stuck in a 2-foot blizzard right now, so trying to negotiate those circumstances. But otherwise, I'm happy we let Ainsley get a transfer.
Yes,
a loan transfer is a good thing for this guy.
Where are you at? You in New York?
New York. Yeah, New York.
You guys got 2 feet, huh?
Yeah, my truck is like 2 feet under right now, and I have to dig it out in a couple of hours. So good luck to me.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Jason, we were just talking about Willock and his potential loan to Newcastle. What do you think about, what do you think this is going to do for his career moving forward?
His career isn't as important as how much we can recoup for him. For me, at this point, he's been a stalwart. He's had probably, maybe over 80 games starting for Arsenal in or thereabouts, featuring for us over the last 2 or 3 years under Unai and now under Mikel. And honestly, he's moot. His level. He doesn't push us further, but he puts in a good shift. And I'm happy with what he's contributed, but I would rather recoup funds for Hale-End products than us hope for them to become messiahs, right? Because we've gotten a decent cull from the last crop. If ESR and Sokka make it, what else can we be asking for out of a select group of kids from one academy at one time?
Right. And that's the thing about the academy. The academy is meant to serve the first team in several different ways, whether they could become solid first team members, like Asaka. They could become squad players to just fill in gaps, which is what Willick has been doing for the last couple of years, or they're there to make money so that we can reinvest that back into the squad. So having Willick, Reese Nelson, Nketiah, Sokka, all these young players in the squad at the moment, like we all know that all of them are not going to make it, and that's perfectly fine. And that's not to say that Willick can't go on loan, show that he can establish himself as a Premier League player and come back. I just think that the way that our team is structured and the type of skill set that's necessary for Arteta at the moment doesn't necessarily fit with what Willick can offer us. So, I think it's great.
Let me jump in real quick, just totally off the Joe Willick topic. Fabrizio Romano, he just tweeted this. There's no agreement between Arsenal and Valencia for Reece Nelson on loan. That he didn't just tweet this, but he retweeted it. He quote tweeted this, but there's no agreement between Arsenal and Valencia for Reece Nelson on loan. The deal is not happening. Other clubs interested, but he could also stay. AFC are looking for a left back today. Then he says, this just came through 2 minutes ago. Huge chances for Nelson to stay at Arsenal. He's not joining Valencia, confirmed. Maitland-Niles is set to join West Brom. The agreement will be completed in the coming hours. Medicals pending. So that's the latest from Fabrizio Romano. Romano.
I'm really disappointed in the fact that we're not letting Reece Nelson go out on a loan, or that we weren't able to figure out somewhere for him to go. I really think that he needed that. He needs game time, and he's not going to get it on that right-hand side. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is a missed opportunity, or you think Reece Nelson can revive his career in some way towards the end of the season?
You want to go ahead, Jason?
With Reece, he's almost a tale of two transfers, right? There was Reece Nelson, and we had the opportunity, or the Jadon Sancho, right? They were both boys from South London. For us to always seemingly get the other brother, right? Not we never get the other brother, right? Like, why that guy? Like, we're always in and around the peak or prime transfer, and we seemingly never hit the mark. I had high hopes when he went to Germany, and honestly, it's just not panned out for him. Injuries, perhaps, and
complacency, maybe.
You know what? So there's there's an undertone to a lot of our players, right? Once they get to Arsenal, they're comfortable, right? They are in nice dregs. The changing room is really nice. The staff are really nice. Sometimes we're a little too nice for kids to push on. And if he needs to go to another setting and realize what he had the opportunity to be, good luck to him. But he's not pushed on, and I have no love lost. And I'm not even frustrated anymore. I'm so happy that Sokka's come out and merged. I'm happy that ESR has come out and emerged. I'm looking at all the positives. What Reece Nelson had the opportunity to do, many youth players never had that much of a entryway to the first team as much as he's had, and he's not taking his opportunity.
David Ornstein has just tweeted that in terms of incomings for Arsenal, the business seems to be complete.
That sounds bad.
Okay.
So,
well,
it's interesting if that's true, and Maitland-Niles does move on. We're left with Sokka could do it.
Cedric has to be fit. We can't afford to at this point. We can't afford Sokka to have to go back to left back.
Right.
Like Cedric has to make
that's really what we have left is 3 / Bukayo Saka is the in case of emergency break glass left back at this point. So
wow.
It's our fullbacks at this point are Kieran Tierney, Hector Bellerin, and Cedric. So Bukayo Saka can fill in a pinch if Maitland-Niles, if the deal to West Brom does come off. So we get that done. I would like to see a left back come in. I think you need cover. I think we need somebody back there. So.
If Cedric's cover, hypothetically, and let's play out a perfect scenario for Reese. Reese can put in a shift. Let's say Reese is the auxiliary right back. Would you be content with that?
He can play wing back. He's played there as a youth for England. So, I wouldn't be opposed to that here. Ryan's here.
You might really have to adjust your system to fit Reese Nelson in at wing back. You're talking, going to a 3 at the back /5 in defense.
I'm not even. You know what? I'm not even saying wing back. Let's just say, as I said, right back. Somebody who can hold the line.
You're right back. Wow.
You guys, really quick,
deliver the ball.
Chat box. Everybody say hi to Ryan. Ryan has joined us today. Thank you, Ryan, for joining us for our transfer deadline. Yes, and
Wait, hang on. So two of us, I mean, 3 of us are East Coast. Jason, I don't know when you woke up, but Ryan and I just got out of bed. Here it is. It's 8 a.m. on the West Coast for Jess, and she's like, she's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to take on the world. So.
Give her credit.
Oh, it's crazy.
I'm ready. I've been up since like 5 a.m., like just looking at the transfers, so trying to see if anything was happening so I could be prepared. So, yeah, but Ryan, we're talking about the, I guess, incomings are about done for Arsenal. So is that okay for you? Like, what do you think? Do you think we needed to bring in that left back, or do you think we could survive with Cedric as the auxiliary left back cover? Like, how do you feel about us not getting any more players in for cover, knowing that we're going to lose Maitland-Niles potentially?
So the only thing I will say was I woke up to the Mustafi news. Thought I was dreaming. I went back to bed. I was like, "Oh, I'm still sleeping." So I went back to bed, and that's why I woke up. I woke up so late.
You guys, Chambers at right back as well. Chambers is still here.
No. I don't think we're gonna sign anybody. I don't want to sign a left back. I think we need to wait till the summer. I think we'll be able to get someone better on a free. But I, for some reason, don't think we're done. I do think Arteta and Edu are going to look for a backup left back for us now. But if like posing the question I was received, if we don't sign anyone, it's tough. I think KT is such an intricate part of our of everything, of our attack, of our defense. So I think we need proper replacement. I was talking to Tannor earlier today, like 5 minutes ago. I want to watch your show about your ratings and how you guys rated people. Raiders Gonna Rate. I couldn't think of the name because I'm curious what you guys thought about Cedric. I didn't think he was good.
Cedric's been good.
No, he's been good. He's been
good.
He's been great. I didn't think he was his usual great self yesterday, but I really want to see him at right back. I prefer him playing instead of Bellerin. I think Cedric needs to be kind of just. I think Cedric needs to slowly play right back. I don't think we need to be doing this flip flop business. And at first, I thought that was Arteta's plan because if you notice, when we had left back problems, Cedric wouldn't go over there, and we all knew when we signed him, Cedric could play both. So I think we need to kind of start, pinning our flags to the masses, as they say, and just find their positions, leave them there. Leave Cedric right back. I know it's tough because when you have someone like KT out, and you have like a fully fit Bellerin. Well, I guess fully fit Bellerin doesn't really make sense, but we have Bellerin that can play, and you have a Cedric too. You kind of have to just make adjustments, and I'm like, I answered my own question. Now I'm like going back on my own answer, but I definitely think Saka could put a shift in. I think we have the players, we have the personnel to finish the season. But it's definitely something that we need to put a lot of attention to. I think after we sign an 8, Basuma.
Basuma. Not an 8, Basuma.
I think it's definitely something we need to look at is a right back. I think as we've seen the last few games, Kieran Tierney is a vital part of our offense. And I also in a tweet said, yes, I think Kieran Tierney is great. I think he's a future captain. I think he's one of our best players. But I also think too you have to put it into perspective and say, I also think tactics have a lot to do with we're very left side heavy. We're very left side centric, if that makes sense. So it's definitely something that we need to look at going forward.
Why
Haven't we had
Cedric?
this quick question? Haven't we had a left side bias for the last 3 years since Unai, right? When Kola was the main driving machine of our offense, haven't we been a left side bias team for quite a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we have so many left footers, and then we have everybody on the right-hand side wants to cut into the left. Bellerin cuts him into the center. Saka cuts into the center. We don't have anybody that likes to hold the width on the right-hand side except for Willian. But we're now playing him on the left. So we are left side heavy. It works for us because we have the ability to basically what we do is we play out of the back on the right-hand side, get the whole entire the opposition team on the right-hand side, switch it over to the left-hand side and overload them over there. That's how we play. It works. Nobody's been able to stop it yet, so, but really quick, why Cedric over Bellerin? What is what has Cedric done to this point to have people feeling like he should start over Bellerin? And are we not at the point where we just kind of Arteta loves Bellerin? He's not going anywhere. Can we accept that, or what's the difference between the two? Why do we love Cedric so much all of a sudden?
I don't know. I don't think I wouldn't be shocked if Bellerin goes in the summer. Do I think it's going to happen? That's a different story. But I know we're linked. I know we're linked with him, and he's linked with a move away and stuff. But I just think Cedric offers, and I said this on the same old Arsenal. I've said this probably on another podcast too. Cedric offers us something that Bellerin doesn't. Cedric offers us the tools in Cedric's toolbox benefit the team and the way we play more than the tools in Bellerin's toolbox. And I think the tools in Bellerin's toolbox are a little too similar to Pepe's. And, if we do want to keep persisting with Pepe, which I actually thought I know I made a couple crazy comments about 2 games ago when I didn't think Pepe played all that great. I think he played pretty well against Man U. I'll give him that. He created the most chances for us. So I do want to kind of, I don't want to say persist with Pepe, because if we do have a healthy Aubameyang and we have a healthy Saka, I think, maybe he takes a back seat. But I don't know if Aubameyang's going to be playing tomorrow. I don't know if Saka. I don't think Saka.
We're going to get to our Wolves preview, so hold on to that thought, and we'll talk about some of those things.
But I think Pepe needs to play more, and he will get more minutes. And if that's the case, I think you have to persist with Cedric. And again, even with Pepe not in the lineup, you got to play with Cedric. Cedric's just with his free kicks, his crossing, his underlapping and overlapping. It's just something that we've just been missing. I mean, Bellerin just takes the ball, cuts inside, and tries to, take on a midfielder or defender, which is cool to see, but I don't want to see it for 90 minutes in our game.
Hector Bellerin tries to play as a midfielder. That's what he tries to do. When he gets the ball, he tries to play as a midfielder. And everybody knows my crazy comment.
Yeah, that's why I left.
We don't want to hear that, Tannor. No.
But the fact is, that's what he tries to do. So, and the only reason I suggested it's because he's trying to do it. Anyway.
You guys, really quick, we have so Mustafi has signed a contract with Schalke, so that's a done deal. And Willock's loan to Newcastle will be 18 months, which is exactly what we're talking about. He needs more than 6 months.
Wow. Yeah, I agree. Oh,
more than that to see. So this is a long term. See you later. Establish yourself, or you're done. And I think that this is one thing, just like a side note, that I think is really important that this regime is doing that the last regimes have not been doing is longer loans. And when your loan gets cut short, you don't come back. You don't. Matt Smith, he left Swinton Town. He went straight to Charlton.
Yeah, Charlton.
Right?
Charlton
Zach Medley, his got cut short. We're looking for him to go back out. So back, when the old regime was here, you got hurt during your loan or it got cut short. We bring you back. We coddle you. We let you back into the first team. This regime is like, no, you're going to be loaned out. And I think that that's going to be better for us in the long term. Joe getting an 18-month loan doesn't give him the opportunity to come back. He has to establish himself at this point. So I think that that's a really good thing that we're doing now that we weren't doing in the past. That's why Reece Nelson is where he is now. He should have never come back. he should have stayed out on loan.
Yeah.
And Ketia should have stayed out on loan as well, in my opinion.
Who?
Yes, not to Leeds, but I do agree.
Who?
He definitely stayed out on loan. Leeds,
Stoke,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
Stoke,
yeah.
something
Stoke
like
would have
that.
been perfect. I
Okay.
think Stoke would have been a
Okay.
perfect for Eddie. Yeah, definitely.
So you guys, I want to pivot just a little bit to, our income. Well, one of our incomings, and I really haven't talked about this on the channel yet in a little bit of detail. And I have a great panel here to kind of get, some ideas about what our expectations of Odegaard are going forward. He didn't have much of a cameo against Manchester United, even though somehow Tannor thinks that he should get a higher score than Thomas Partey, which is strange to me, but we'll just leave that there.
Oh, I can't wait to listen to this podcast. Oh, I can't wait.
So
Oh.
So with Odegaard, I think that, we have expectations of him for these next couple of months to help future-proof Smith Rowe. But what are expectations of him in terms of, goal contributions, assists? Do we expect him to start over Smith Rowe? Like, do we want to see him against Wolves? Jason, what do you think? What are your expectations of Odegaard for the end, now into the end of the season? What would be a good loan spell, in your opinion?
I think as Arsenal fans, we know the word trauma very well. We've seen loans not pan out in our lifespans. I can name Dennis Suarez. I can name Julio Baptista. I can name again. And that's the sad part, right? We have a history of doing this. As long as he doesn't do, as long as I can't even tell you I have numbers. It's gotten to the point in which I don't even care about productivity. As long as he allows ESR to be healthy enough to rotate, I'm content. Anything plus is a plus, right? Because we're not used to any loan players really showing out for us. So at this stage, if he can show desire, if he can contribute in some which way, shape, or fashion on the field and not be a liability, I'm content. Because we just needed the extra body in that space to occupy what the 10th position should be doing. But I can't give you numbers because we're not used to numbers. And again, trauma is the word I use because as an Arsenal fan base, we are well versed in that word.
Ryan, quick answer. What do you think?
I mean, he kind of took my answer. I could not agree more. I guess, and he kind of said this, but my whole thing is I just want him to, the impact I want him to make is just so, I guess, we don't realize, like, let's say Odegaard plays instead of ESR. The difference I want, or not the difference, but what I want from Odegaard is just we don't realize ESR is not playing. He just does the same thing. He keeps the clock ticking. He keeps the machine running. Mm-hmm. That's really it. I mean, yeah. There's talk that they both can play together. If they do that, and if that works, cool. But I'm not really looking for that. I'm just looking for cover for ESR. I'm looking for ESR to stay healthy, and I don't want us to skip a beat, especially where we're playing in the run of form we're on right now.
Okay. Tannor, any last words on Odegaard expectations before we move on to the preview?
Expectations, just stay healthy. Stay healthy and
don't be brittle.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
Perform the role that you were brought in here to perform. That's it. I honestly, I'd love him to perform to the point that it becomes a very, very difficult question to answer in terms of do we really want to pay for him on a permanent transfer, which is why I also said that we all need to become very big Real Madrid fans if you want Martin Odegaard to stay. Because if Madrid do well without him, they're more inclined to sell.
Against Alaves, I believe.
Yep.
So we need them to start doing better.
Yeah, they're more inclined to sell at a more reasonable price. Whereas if he performs really well here and they continue to shit the bed down in Spain, if we want him, we're going to pay a premium because they're going to want to keep him. So I'm a fan of the move. I like it, and I really want to see him do well here.
So Lone Star Lender has a really good comment.
He has good points.
And Jess put it up. Yeah, perfect. Yes. Yeah. And I think that kind of sits in with what Jason was saying. We want him to be passionate, play for the team, really kind of put a foot in. And he needs to resurrect his career. He was, the 15, 14, whatever, how old teen, prodigy that everyone was talking about. And this is his moment right here. I mean, you're not going to get you're playing on a big team. And, this is your platform. This is your moment to shine. You're not really going to get a bigger platform than this. So this is his chance to really show the world
Lone Star.
Lone Star is like one of my favorites.
He's hilarious.
He's always on point with the comments. He's
on point.
Lone Star, yes.
Again, the sad part is that we've gone through this before. We've had high hopes for a lot of talent we've pulled in, and a lot of people haven't played out for us. The last January signing that really hit the ground running was Abba, right? And you see how euphoric we've become since that man has been in the team. But because we've gone through this before, we've speculated, we've seen so much talent come through our team and none of it play out. At the very least, if you stay healthy, because we have a history of not being able to keep talent outside of the red zones, and he contributes, that's a baseline. If anything else happens, it's a plus. But because we're humbled this season, right? We're in 10th right now. As well as we've played this past 2021, we're still 10th. So I have no ambitions of being in 4th place. I just hope for a good Europa run, maybe the final. And if enough teams slip up, because we're all dependent upon the teams above us to have Tottenham moments yesterday, right? That Spurs game was classic. That allows us to banter, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, we're seeing how much tighter this league table is, just depending on every week. It's in flux. So if we just keep our heads low, we play our game, and those players deliver, we can see ourselves somewhere else in the middle of April.
I agree.
Yeah.
So let's go around to everybody and just, if the window stays as it is today, where I think Mustafi is gone, Kolasinak's gone, Ozo's gone, Socrates is gone, Matt Mace is gone, Willick leaves on loan, Ainsley Maitland-Niles leaves on loan, and who else? Odegaard came in. Am I missing anything?
Rekic
and the goalkeeper.
Matt Ryan,
Yeah.
Matty.
Let's rate the window and Adu's work in this window, and we'll start with Ryan.
Okay.
Out of 10.
If Willick and Amen leave, I mean, I don't do this lightly. I hate giving this number out, but I mean,
don't do it. Don't do it.
What's wrong? What's wrong with?
Where are you gonna go?
Can you name something that's wrong? That's wrong with this window? It's a 10.
Right now I can.
Wow.
Right now I can.
Tell me right now.
Yeah,
No left back. No left back cover.
No left
We
back.
have, but it's not like we don't have a left back in the team. And another thing that I didn't want to touch up, because I always say this on every podcast, and I do believe it. I do believe Chambers' worst position is right back for us, but he can play it. So I'm not. I know it's right back, and we need a left back, but we have full back cover. I'm still gonna go with 10 or 10. I'm so sorry. I'll go at 9.9 out of 10. How does that sound?
Nice.
Jason?
I would say a solid 8. Only because none of the signings have pushed us forward. They've only kept we've cut out the cancer. This window was about cutting out cancer, pretty much, right? We've done that much. That's an 8 baseline. Odegaard, again, if he adds something, to me, I think a lot of the issues we've had is that we've stumbled onto our new system, right? We didn't expect ESR to come and be as prominent as he's become. So, in truth, we've had new signings, that new signing feeling from our own squad. So if Odegaard rotates with him, allows him to be healthy, and Odegaard pushes him further, bonus for us. Who else is there? Matt Ryan? I like that.
Oh, yeah.
I like having him. I think only because he's a high touch, high involvement goalkeeper. And we have those games in which we allow our back four to be exposed. So if worse comes to worse, we have a player who, when he's peppered, plays better. So I'm glad we have him as a backup. And for the most part, I'd say an 8. We've not, again, secured the Tierney side. We've not gotten an auxiliary left back. Other than that, there's nothing else we can really have asked for, considering the conditions we're all in, right? If you look at the transfer window, most people have loaned players. No one's really bought anybody of any merit, right? $2 million here, 4.5 million from, I think, Brighton, from Independiente del Valle in Ecuador. So no one's spending money.
And
I
you got to
can't say
figure
much.
too, like the reason why I rank our windows so highly is because look at how our windows have gone. So I guess maybe that's why I'm so high. If you look at any, it's probably the best window we've had in hell.
Since Arteta was here, right? That was the 7th signing with. Remember that?
That was a good window in quantity, but not quality.
Obviously, but that was a feel-good factor. This has a similar feel-good factor.
That was because of the 8-2. That 8-2 blowout, and Arsene was like, "Where's the junk? Let me just find something." Like it was just no offense, Arteta, but yeah.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. I think that this was a decent window. Tannor, what do you think? Did you
decent? You guys, I thought you guys would be buzzing. This is the best window we could have expected. This is amazing. I think this is an amazing window, and I'm always negative. This was an amazing window.
I'm thinking an 8.
Amazing.
I love Ryan's energy.
An 8.
It's an 8. It's an 8 for me.
Yeah.
This window was all about moving out the dead wood, as it was. Right. That's what this window.
Ryan, you do know that Kolasinac can come back. You know if Schalke gets relegated, he's coming back.
Take me off this high right now, right? You're gonna ruin my good mood. You're gonna ruin it by saying something like that. Come on, he ain't coming back. Hope not.
It's an 8. It's an 8. We've accomplished for the most part everything that we set out to accomplish, which was
in summer.
Yeah, which was get rid of the deadwood, get all of these players, like Jason said, we've now cut out the cancer.
Right.
Get them off the books. Free up that wage bill. Get that wage bill more manageable. Excuse me. Find cover at the 10, which is Odegaard, and there is absolutely no downside to that loan. To me, there's no downside to that loan move at all. But 9s and 10s are tough to give out, and if we get what would make it a 9 for me is if we got a left back to cover Kieran Tierney.
So what's 10?
I'll tell you what it's so the 10.
I mean, yeah, okay. That's
the 10 for this window would have been Odegaard, would have been an option to buy in Odegaard's loan deal.
Come on,
including.
Okay, I want to hear this.
Including everything else that I just said, that would have made it the 10. That would have gotten it to the 10 for me.
Okay, so
Schalke, Kolasinac's deal being made permanent. That would have made it a 10 for me.
Okay, that's true.
To cut this off, but we need to get to the Wolves preview. So we got an 8, an 8, an 8, and a 9.5 somehow.
Give me a 9. I'll go 9. I'll go 9.
So in the chat box, you guys, if you guys are still here with us, thank you for staying this far. We're going to get into the Wolves preview. But before we get into the Wolves preview, I want everybody to smash the likes. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And in the chat box, let us know how you rate this January transfer window. Okay.
Lone Star is funny. Find cover, find, and resurrect Martin. He has to prove himself. Martinelli? Is he talking about?
No,
Odegaard.
Which I agree. It gets me upset. I'm a big ESR guy, but yeah. Whatever.
Yes, Enrico. Yes. 10 would have been Gunnersaurus getting a pay raise. Yes.
Honestly, yeah. Honestly, the way you just described your rating system, I honestly genuinely believe that that's how you feel, Tanner. You believe that would make it a 10 if Gunnersaurus. Okay,
hang on. Let me just bear with me here 1 minute.
Let's go. Yeah.
You understand that 10 is perfect.
You do realize our transfer windows, right? Our past transfer windows have been like 1, 2.
Okay. All right.
Zero.
Nice.
Hang on. What you're saying makes sense. You're giving it the number based on the way previous windows have gone.
Yeah.
So if that's your system,
I give it the Arsenal transfer window is a like a 9.
That's fine. If that's, to me, my ratings 10 is perfect. Like, there's nothing else we could have asked for. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there that would say the only way that this transfer would have been a 10 was for us to go get Kylian Mbappe, and Jesus himself to descend from the heavens and put on a pair of boots and go to work. It's just, but for me, it's close. It really is close. And honestly, not giving it a 10, and the things that I'm not giving it a 10 for are a little nitpicky. They're but if you're going to hand out a 10, that's perfect, and it's got to be, to me, for me, it has to be exactly dead on.
No, that's
why deal needed to be permanent. The option to buy on Odegaard needed to be in there, and Renee. Yep, absolutely.
I agree. That's why I'm like, okay, it's a 9. It's a 9.
6.
Who's Windows 6?
But
you guys
Lone
lack
Star
excitement.
old.
Let me address something with Lone Star. We've been going back and forth with this in a separate group. Ainsley has his heart dedicated on playing in midfield. He doesn't like the fact that if he's being sold, most other options see him as an auxiliary right back or right wing back. He wants to play in midfield. We can't give that boy that opportunity. I can't say letting him go is a bad thing if he, in his own mind, his advisors are all telling him the same thing. You are a midfielder. And if he wants to pursue that for his career in the short time span in which he has one, kudos for him. But you know what? He's put in a shift. He's gotten us a FA Cup and a Community Shield, being a player he didn't want to be. Then Oxlade-Chamberlain do the same thing. And where is he right now? So Ainsley can be an ox in the sense that they can get to play midfield, but the real question is, do they have an impact when they leave us? I haven't seen Ox have much of an impact at Liverpool, so let's not get hung up on what Ainsley could be when he hasn't really had.
Guys, he's not going to be Narbury. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Let me ask one quick question. I see this on Twitter. Just yes or no.
Really quick.
Yes or no.
Okay.
Jeez.
If Wolves came in and offered $20 million for Maitland-Niles right now, would you take it?
Yes. I would have taken that in the summer. I would have taken $15 million in the summer. If you've watched anything on this channel or anything I've ever said, we should have sold him when we had the chance. His value is not going to go up. I guarantee it. I would bet money on that. We should have.
We're still in a pandemic.
We're still in a pandemic. Nobody's going to.
Value can go up.
Nobody's going to.
I don't think it will, though. It can
only because of the market circumstances, right? He's an English player premium. He's an England international. These are all pluses. But in the times of Corona, we can't really say what a player is worth anymore. The fact that they spent $35 million on Semedo tells me everything. I'm glad we didn't sell him for 15 to them, because at the same point, no one's really spending. Yeah, pretty much. Harry Land said it.
You guys have to remember 35. The market
dictates.
Yeah, they're only worth what people are willing to pay for. He's an auxiliary player at best. He'll play at West Brom as a midfielder in a relegation side. So he's not he's
Gibbs, and he's a mixture of Kieran Gibbs and Isaac Hayden in one player. That's
awful.
Pretty much what we did, right? Isaac Hayden is an old player, but he's now playing at Newcastle. He's been there for like 8 years. So he's a mixture of the two.
Okay, you guys, let's get into this Wolves preview. That was awesome. You guys, again, smash the likes before we get into the Wolves preview. So,
hey guys, real quick, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please go do that.
That's right. Get him.
What?
Go ahead.
What'd I do?
I thought you were about to ask another question about this transfer window. I've been trying to get off of this for like 10 minutes.
You said smash the likes. I was going to say subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, right. He's going to talk about Matty Ryan or something.
I'm done. Go. 3 away from 400. Come on.
You guys subscribe to the channel.
Okay, I agree with that.
So we're going to play Wolves. And I just looked at Wolves. Their recent form has been poor. Since the last time we played them, they've been poor. They haven't won a game. They haven't won in 4 games. And they look really, really blunt in attack without Raul Jimenez. They have a 17-year-old up there playing, I think his name is Fabio Silva. Adama Traore hasn't been able to get off the mark. Neto and Podence are hit and miss. And they've moved into this back 4 system from a back 3 that's not really serving them at the moment. So I'm thinking that this is a must-win game for us, and I can't see a reason why we don't win. Tannor, in your opinion, do you think that this is a kind of like an easy game for Arsenal? Should we just walk in there, get the win, and walk out, or do you think we'll hit some trouble with this Wolves team, and even in their bad form?
There's no such thing as an easy game in this league, and I hate to say it, but you look just yesterday at Brighton and the scum, and there you go. They walked in there, probably thought, yep, we got this, and look what happened. So no easy games in this league. You got to put in the effort. You got to put in the work, and we need to do that tomorrow. You know what? Nuno Espirito Santo. I love saying his name, but look. At the end of the day, they're in bad form, absolutely. But you take them lightly, they'll run all over you. They'll run you to death.
Mm-hmm.
So, no easy games. No easy games. I want to go back to the Ainsley Maitland. No, I'm kidding.
I was like,
Don't you dare. I completely agree with that, though. I think that, the last time that we played them, they beat us 2-1. And even when we equalized with them, we didn't look like we could move, but we were in a different space. So with the Wolves squad being what they are, I expect us to beat them, but I expect it to be a tough game. No. So Jason, I saw that Saka was in full training. Tierney, I don't think was. Pepe is in good form. Aubameyang is back, but we're not sure if he's going to play because he's been out for a couple weeks. Lacazette is also fine. He's not concussed. Thank God he's good after that really hard fall, after kind of like that weird tackle or whatever with Harry Maguire. Who would you play up front tomorrow with all things considered against Wolves?
We only really have one choice, right? It is Laka. He does the dirty work. He drops back into a 10, almost an 8 position and allows a lot of our players to overlap and push forward. My concern with Wolves, honestly, is that new signing they have, William Jose. He's a battering ram, right? And we have a problem aerially. That's not Leno's strength. That wasn't David Luiz's strength unless he's being bombarded. He plays aerially well, but only in a certain way. When they're delivering crosses in the box, somehow David Luiz becomes a different figure. But he's prone to lapses. William Jose is the one player that I'm a little afraid of because he's not a known quantity. We don't have enough tape on him. And if all you need is Podence and what's the other child they have in that team? Neto. Again, remember, there's about those tricky wingers. All you need them to do is and to me, Cedric is a liability when he has to face pace. He's going to face a lot of pace tomorrow or on Wednesday. So either which way, there's only one choice. It is Laka. The real question is, can the other players around him expose whatever ill feeling Wolves has? But when you're playing us, every team gets an extra 10% or 5% to play, right? So no easy games in the EPL. We've seen that yesterday with Brighton against Spurs. So I'm grateful if we can just be consistent and if Wolves can just not find their feet. That's it. So
Saka, Pepe, and Lacazette, is that what we're going with for the front?
If they all can play.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Okay.
I love the reactions.
So, okay. Sorry.
Live in the now, man. Live in the now.
In the now.
Okay, so Ryan, and I think I'm going to go to you with this one. Wow. This is
love it.
Wow. Okay, so I'm trying to go to Ryan, but I can't stop laughing.
I love it.
Is this okay? So, is this the game to start Odegaard? I think ESR has played a lot of minutes, and he's a young player, may need a rest. Is this the game to start Odegaard and give ESR a rest? Do you think that this would be a good time to kind of introduce him into the starting lineup? And do you think he'll be able to kind of like withstand the pace of your Ruben Neves and those types of players? Do you think he'll be able to stand up to the test, or do you think we should stick with ESR?
It's tough. So I don't think ESR should start. I think he needs a rest. But I also don't think Odegaard's ready.
Yeah.
So, you saying
I don't know. So, but the thing is, if ESR sits, Odegaard has to play. I don't want anybody else to play except for Odegaard.
Say Willian.
No.
That's where it was going.
But yeah, so it's tough because, do you just force him in there? Do you force him in there? Like, I think you kind of have to. I don't think playing ESR is something we should be doing. And kind of going back to what Jason said, I don't think we play David Luiz tomorrow either. I think it's Gabriel Holding.
Gabriel.
So I think that's going to help us early. But yeah, I also feel like too in our game against Wolves earlier in the season, I think we weren't playing well, and Neto also played out of his skin, which I don't think he's going to do again. Which never. He's probably going to listen to this podcast and prove me wrong. But I think we're going to have. I don't want to. It's again, as Coach Tannor always says, there's no easy games in the Premier League. But I do think this game won't be as that's what you sound like. I don't think it'll be as.
I'm preparing for my big moment.
Preparing my team for battle. I don't think this Wolves team is going to be as tough of a test as they normally pose to us. I do worry about Traore, and if we don't have Tierney, which I don't think we're gonna, he's going to be kind of a nuisance. I think we're going to need Martinelli to an extent, which I don't see him starting unless the injuries are a thing, which who knows. We need Martinelli's injury, as in the Man U game when Cedric switched off for a second, Martinelli had to run like half the field. And was it Rashford? He had to head the ball away from Rashford, like when he got into our 18-yard box. So that's going to be interesting. That's the one player on their team I'm always worried about. Is Traore, because he's a massive, he's a brick shithouse. Let's just put it that way. He's a big boy, as Rob Holding would say. He's a brick shithouse. So he's my only real concern. I think if we could kind of play the way we played against Man U and yet contain Traore, I don't see anything but 3 points. But I've also said that before, and we've lost. So
I definitely think we need to go full strength. That's why I was very kind of like vocal about the last game not being as must win as the next three, because if you take the emotions out of it, like, I know that we want to beat Manchester United, but I would have rather not played Saka, because I saw that some people, even though he was injured, still felt like Saka should have played, and I'm like, no, he needs to be ready for Wolves, Villa, and Leeds. Those are the games that if we win those 3 games and we got a result against Manchester United, now we're talking about being in the mix. People have to remember that, like, the teams around us have games in hand, and we were in 8th place when we tied Manchester United. Now we slipped back down to 10th. We're not as far up as we think we are. So the next 3 games are really, really important. So I think that if we can go at full strength against Wolves and Villa and Leeds, I think we should be able to beat all of them relatively, not easy, but kind of like how we beat Southampton. Tough game, but we should be able to overrun these teams. We have too much for them. They're not in good form. Aston Villa is shaky. Leeds is shaky, and Wolves is in bad form. I expect us to win all 3 games, even if we're missing Kieran Tierney or, one or the other player. I'm going to disagree with Ryan on this. Just one thing is I do think we have to continue to play David Luiz. I'm not.
We just played 2 days ago. Okay.
If he's fit, what I saw from Gabriel against Southampton has traumatized me, and I just feel like
don't play him.
I think he's been good for us, but I do think that because he's been good, we've kind of turned the blind eye to some of his flaws. He's rash, and he's been out for a while. So I'm thinking I would play the exact same back line that we played against Manchester United with Odegaard at the 10, Thomas Partey, my boy, Xhaka.
That's the thing too. I think Partey has a point to prove. He even came out on social media and said he played bad.
I don't want to hear nothing about Thomas Partey. He had a bad game. He did bad. He was just off.
Off. Exactly. I think that he's going to take that game and he's going to be like, all right, I'm going to show these people really what's going on. I think he's gonna play out of his skin.
I don't think that their midfield of even Ruben Neves and Matinho and Dendoncker, even if that's their strongest midfield, I don't know. They have other people playing.
Are we not acknowledging the problem on that team is Adama Traore and him driving straight at us and we not having any recovery pace? Okay.
I said that.
First of all I'm saying is that if we control the midfield and Pepe and Saka and Lacazette play like we know that they can, there's no way. Wolves never scores more than 2 goals a game. They actually score mostly like 1 goal. They're blunt. even if Adama Traore runs down there 5-6 times and beats us, he's not kicking the ball in the back of the net more
They
than
have
once.
recovery pace, right? My concern is on our attack. Let's not ignore them. On our attack, they have enough defenders with pace to cover our speedsters. That's what that team is known for. So I'm not really Semedo, as much as I might not think highly of him, he is essentially Ainsley Maitland-Niles for them, but Portuguese.
He's
That's
not
my
good
conversion.
defensively.
But he has a lapse in him, but he has the speed and physicality to keep up with a Pepe. Now
Pepe should eat him.
I would love to see what you're saying play out on the field.
Pepe's skill is not speed. Pepe's skill is his skills. There's no way I would put Pepe up against Semedo any day of the week.
The same Semedo who played on the same team as Messi and Griezmann, and I would love to see that play.
That's why he's at Wolves and he's not at Barcelona anymore.
Okay.
Because he's not that great. That's just my opinion. But I
want you to be right.
I get the Adama Traore situation, but just like your boy Saint Maximin, there's no end product there. So I'm not worried about you running down the side and kicking the ball into the stands. He can do that. But we have a really good defense. We've been able to keep Rashford quiet. We've been able to keep a lot of really good forwards quiet. So I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is just when we get our chances, we have to take them. They're not going to score more than one goal on us. They're not. Even as bad as we played the last time that we played them, they did score 2 goals, but we were crap. I do not expect them to score more than a goal.
And to come to Jess's aid a little bit, the Wolves average exactly 1 goal a game. And besides Man City, we have we're like
the second best defense.
We're 0.95 goals a game. So yeah, it's a good point. I guess I'm not as worried about Traore as I thought, but to me he's the only. I think he's the only person that hurt us. I mean, I guess you could say Neto too, but again, I think that game that he played against us, I think he'll just that's just a one-off. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go around and give our score predictions. Tannor, what do you think the score is going to be between us and Wolves?
I have 8 predictions. 8.
That's why we don't do our show, right, Tannor?
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's why we never do that. That's why we never do the prediction show. We talk about it all the time. We never do it. 2-0 to the Arsenal.
Ooh.
Jason?
2-1 to the Arsenal.
Ryan?
I hate having the same prediction as somebody, but I'm gonna. I think it's gonna be 2-1 to the Arsenal.
I agree. 2-1 to the Arsenal. I think we're going to beat them. If we play the way that we played against the last 2 teams that we played, we will beat them. So that's going to be it for the show today. I think this was a really good show. Everybody in the chat box, thank you so much for joining us for this crazy show with this great panel. Let me put this down really quick. Tannor, let everybody know that they can find you in the on the internet. Go ahead, Tannor.
The Bearded Gooner, just Twitter at the Bearded Gooner. You guys know what it is at this point. I think. I assume you're going to shout out the channel and everything, so I'll leave that up. Yep, I'll leave that up to you. But on Twitter at the Bearded Gooner, and that's it.
Jason, where can they find you on the internet?
Jason Andrew, I'll be there. I'm in the back channels, but for the most part, Jason Andrew.
I'm in the back.
Ryan, where can they find you on the internet?
Oh shit!
Fluffer of the year.com.
Yeah, I can't never do that. Arts Bros Ryan, follow me. Let's talk. For Arts Bros, Manny's doing a Arts Bros Extreme on Wednesday. It's gonna be crazy. He's actually, I love him. He's very negative. I know he's yelling at the guys, but he was the one in the chat earlier today. He said 10 out of 10 window. He's excited. He's happy. Once Mustafi kind of left, it was the cherry on a Sunday. So that'll be fun. And also, too, welcome back to Simpsons Arsenal. I don't know if any of you guys follow.
Oh, yeah, that was a good account.
They're back, and they're awesome, and they're hilarious, and I love them. And, definitely everyone should check them out as well.
Cool.
Okay, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And before you leave, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, you like the video, and you get in that comment section and let us know what your score prediction is for Arsenal versus Wolves. I'm Jessica. I've been your host, and you can follow me on Twitter at It's Jessinho for fun polls and me try to be funny and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
All she's going to do to try to be funny now is just put up a picture of her fax machine ringing.
Goodbye. This is the end of the show. Thanks, everyone. Bye.